it's funded at about a level of about a 76% level. Now, I want to say, without a doubt, the city has done everything that TMRS, which is the pension